Hello and welcome to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today this is game 2. It is between xSixSleep and the one, the only ZeNEXmenta. Now Menta is the blue Protoss player in the top left, and we've got Sleep as the kind of TV coloured Zerg in the bottom right. Now this is game 2, as I said. If you haven't watched game 1, go and check it out. It's in this playlist, so you've got no excuses for not being able to find it. Just click pause on this one, open the other one up in a new tab, and give it a quick watch, because spoiler alerts, well, they're coming up. So pause now, and then you can't be cross if I tell you what happened. So in game 1, Sleep did some pretty nice play. You had a bit of a slow third base coming down, but on top of that, he went into some really heavy muta play. I'm talking super heavy mutas, and eventually just got the better of Manta. And Sleep actually cutting in here. He's going for a extractor trick up to 11 here. Don't know if that's for a specific reason at all. We'll wait and see, or was it just that he forgot to build the Overlord? Probably the latter, because unless you don't build the Overlord, there's no other real reason to do an extractor trick. It just isn't as efficient. Through all the Team Liquid posts about it. Meanwhile, we will see Menta. Well, he's dropping down this forward pylon, so he's going to go for a fast expansion again. Meanwhile, we will see the spawning pool first out of Sleep. That's quite a 14 pool, so pretty standard time. He's obviously a bit worried about getting cheesed or just getting some kind of early aggression, probably cannons. The map, of course, is Teldarim Altar. The big problem for this map for Sleep are these rocks, which will deny him getting that third base up too easily. Likewise, this natural base easy to get up, and, well, Menta going for a really early Nexus there. So, Nexus before a Forge or anything else like that, he's just playing very safe, banking up a bit of minerals, so there goes the Forge as well. So, this is a very similar opening to what Menta did in game 1. And to be fair, Menta's opening was really quite effective. There was no reason for it not to be. Meanwhile, Sleep, he's getting up his natural base as well, and he's got a gas up. Now, this again is a similar opening Sleep did to his first game as well, and personally, I don't like this extractor, purely because if your opponent is going for that fast expansion, you need a third base ASAP, and by getting this gas, you're just delaying how long until you can get that third base. Now, obviously on this map it's not as bad, because your third base is ridiculously hard to get as a Zerg player. You can either take this one, or you can take one out of position here, or you can take your natural fourth, and generally it's just not too fun. It's bad times, and straight away we've got this Zergling here starting working well on those rocks. Obviously just one Zergling alone will take an extortionate amount of time to take it out, so we do actually have some more Zerglings coming in, 2 more in production there as well for Sleep, so he's just getting quite a lot. He's getting speed up as well. His playstyle really just favours those speed Zerglings. They give him great map control and also the opportunity to do some damage potentially. Now we will see here the Menta's got his second gas up. He's also got his natural Nexus up, actually up before Sleep's base, so for that reason alone, he's going to be in quite a comfortable position. Now, as you can see, the ideal timing to get this third base is at 4 minutes 20, 4 minutes 30 at the latest, but these rocks just throw that timing out the window, because as you saw, Sleep really got this number of Zerglings out as soon as was reasonable, started working this rocks down as soon as he could, and already is being delayed by quite a considerable amount of time, and the longer that delay goes on, the worse it is. Now here we will see Sleep doing some good scouting just with his Overlords, and also those Zerglings. These rocks still up, so essentially this is delaying this third base by a minute already. Obviously this map, I believe, was Menta's pick because he lost game 1, and this is solely the reason. A lot of Zerg players used to love Teldarim, and then as getting a third base up became more and more popular, Zerg players tend to veto it. Now, I mean, these rocks, they're only just going down now, and already if you look at how far delayed, it's almost going to be, well, it's getting up to what will be close to probably about 1 minute 50, nearly 2 minutes delayed, and at this stage in the game that is absolutely huge. So actually it nearly comes out straight away at 2 minutes, just under, and if you look at the work account, that says it all, and why that is such a disadvantage here for Sleep. Meanwhile, we will see that Manta, he's getting up 2 more gateways, he's getting up an extra gas, that 1 cannon, picking off the Zergling. We have got the Overlord flying over, getting a good position on the high ground, so won't be able to get taken out anytime soon. This Overlord scouting up at the back as well, so we'll see these 2 additional gateways, we'll see the gas timing, and that's really everything he needs to know. Meanwhile, if we take a look at Sleep Space, he's getting that Roach one. We'll probably see an Evolution Chamber come out really shortly, because it's a common timing. You get a Roach one and an Evolution Chamber at pretty much the same time, because then you can deal with air. There we go, there's the Evolution Chamber as expected. Meanwhile, we will see Menta getting that +1 ground weapons upgrade. And essentially, that is a brilliant upgrade to get, because if the Zerglair doesn't have the Carapace upgrade, Zealot's 2-shot Zerglings, which in the early game is an absolutely huge advantage, and going even into the later game it's also brilliant. Now this Twilight Council is down, we may see Blink come out there soon, and an additional gateway right at the back, so that will take him up to 4 gates, which is not too much pressure. There's one Zealot starting to work down these rocks, and essentially both players are playing pretty standard so far. I mean, the only thing I would say is this gas, obviously to get the lair out, and Sleep, all I was going to say was Sleep 6 was probably getting to the point where he wants to get some more gases up, and as I said he started doing it, so that's pretty straight up there. A lot of, well, the sentry numbers are getting quite nice here. Obviously the Zealot numbers also getting up. +1 is finished, +2 coming straight out, so what I'd almost guarantee is some very heavy mid-game pressure coming out from Menta, purely because +2 upgrades are ridiculously good. I was going to say stupidly good, but again, if you've got an upgrade advantage as a Protoss player against Zerg, you're doing everything right. Now, xSixSleep is getting these Spore Crawlers out, partly for DT awareness, and also in case of air and Macro Hatch on its way. There goes the +1 melee attack coming up for these Zerglings, but no sign of a second Evolution Chamber as of yet. They're just finishing up here for Sleep, and that will allow him to get the road speed if he wants it, but there we go. Straight away as I said it. Now, I mean, Sleep, by getting that +1 melee attack as opposed to Carapace, means that these +2 upgrades, when they are getting chrono boosted out, will be super effective. In terms of gateways, there are only 4 on the field. You may see a 5th one come down, but to be honest, I don't think there's going to be too much early pressure coming out of Menta, purely because he's got this Nexus down. He wants to defend his 3rd base and stay on equal bases, but Sleep's having none of that. He's getting his own 4th base up. What is it with me? Numbers. No, Sleep getting up his 4th base. Great creep spread. I've got to give Sleep that. This creep spread is pretty damn nice, and will join up these bases, and is essential on a map this big to be able to get that army movement to defend against any kind of warp-ins or drops or anything. Now, 1 queen missing from here, just not a big deal. Ventricle Sacs on the way as well, so we should see some drop play come out of Sleep here as well. Will he go for a similar muta build, or what's he going to do? Well, only time will tell. Meanwhile, we will see a lot of cannons down here, another gateway. This is really nice Sim City here. These 2 cannons are so well defended against any Zergling run-bys that it's just lovely. Meanwhile, +3 coming out. So Menta is just going crazy with upgrades here, picking off an Overlord, which is always nice. A free Overlord is brilliant, and another Overlord just coming into Scalp, but there are some Stalkers there. They probably won't be able to take them out. I believe Blink is finished, so may be able to if he does do some good blinks, and he will. So again, that's the 2nd Overlord just picked off for free. Meanwhile, we will just see the Zergling scouring around, making sure no pylon comes down the back here, because that can be a nightmare. Meanwhile, the 2nd Evolution Chamber coming out for Sleep. He's also getting a lot of Banelings. Where are they all? So a big Baneling Roach play coming in. Injects, to be honest, the injects aren't perfect. There's quite a lot of energy banked up on these queens, and that's not really what you want, because every inject you miss is of course a lack of production. Now, Menta is moving forward. He's clearing out these watchtowers just to deny the map control of Sleep, but obviously because Sleep did have these towers controlled, he knows exactly the army composition, etc. of Menta. Now, +1 Carapace and +1 missile attacks on the way down here, and then these Banelings just look a lovely colour. I mean, they're really nice colours. Anyway, that was a bit on the side note. 4 gateways coming out as well now for Menta, so this is going to be a lot of gateway pressure. There is that robotics facility, which, to be honest, has only been used to get out an observer, nothing else. But all of those Banelings are loaded up. There's a lot of Zerglings charging for the creep spread, still going pretty nicely. And I have to say, I would like to see these bases joined up. It seems to have been just a bit distracted from getting those up at the moment. Those extra gateways are now finishing up. That brings the total to 5, 6, 7, 8 9 gates, which again, the production for Menta is going to be pretty crazy, but Sleep, his own production, really nice. He's got that macro hatch, he's got 4th base up. We're going to see a bit of engagement here. Those Stalkers numbers are pretty high. +3 is just about to finish as well, so the upgrade advantage heavily in favour of Menta there. I mean, +1 carapace isn't even finished yet. It should finish up, but obviously +2 attack on top of that will make these Stalkers stupidly effective against the Roaches. The Zerglings will still be quite awkward to deal with, so really Menta needs to get a couple more Zealots in there or have some extremely good blink micro. Obviously those Banelings are something to be scared of. The Robotics Bay and also a Stargate coming out there for Menta. Some money, force fields go down. That is absolutely lovely. A second wave. Those Overlords getting picked off as soon as possible. Some Banelings are getting dropped down, but obviously you want to drop the Banelings right on top of the Stalkers so they do maximum splash damage, and that just wasn't able to happen because of those perfect force fields. Meanwhile, just a Baneling drop coming in here at the natural. Will he be able to get down? No, so that was dropped off. This is a kind of fake drop coming down here, but it will get picked off anyway. Meanwhile, we've got some big engagements coming down here. We're missing this through the drops, and I mean, some force fields weren't quite on the money there, so those Zerglings are still able to get in. And here we go. There goes some good drops. That is exactly what you want. But amazing blink from Menta there. Just pulling all those Stalkers back, getting away safely. This 3rd base is looking very vulnerable though, just purely because there are so many units. Spire nearly finishing up there for Sleep, and those Stalkers are doing an insane amount of damage though to all of these Roaches. The probes are getting involved, and 3rd base goes down. That is a big loss for Menta there. A lot of probes killed as well. If we take a quick look here, 17 probes already killed, but this will get cleaned up by Menta. But of course losing that 3rd base is huge, because effectively now Sleep is 2 bases up. He's switching into Hydra, and usually I'd be quite against getting Hydras that early, or at this stage of the game, because they're so weak against Colossi. But essentially that's not something to worry about, because this is such a large Stalker army that Hydra Roach will be fantastic. It's a brilliant decision there by Sleep. He's also getting that infestation pit just finished. Will he get pathogen glands? Because ultimately, if he does, fungal growth against Blink Stalkers are very nice. +1 fire attack coming down, so that's kind of hinting that we could see some Mutalisk Hive on the way as well. There goes the pathogen glands, which is exactly what Sleep needs. Meanwhile, the 4th base just started up there for Menta, and Menta is, well, going to have to put on some pressure, because here comes the 5th base for Sleep. We'll probably see him take a 6th before too long, I would imagine. Obviously, the supply count very much in favour of Sleep, and, well, Menta's going to have to do something impressive. He does have the upgrade advantage, although he's got that weapons upgrade sorted, but hasn't actually been upgrading the armor for a long time. That forge has been sitting idle, and that's never something you want. You want to be getting the upgrades. And I mean, as long as this base gets down, then it shouldn't be too much of a problem there for Menta to catch up economically. But obviously this is a 200 army of Roach Hydra. There's only 1 Colossi out, which is not going to be able to deal with it. It all just depends on how well Menta controls his army. If the micro is good, he should be fine. But this is a bit of a choke, which isn't really where you want to be fighting ever against ranged units, because obviously the better arc always wins. Now all of those cannons getting taken out, and if this 3rd base goes down again, which it looks like it is going to, then that could be a big loss. But actually it looks like Menta is just cleaning this up. That 2nd Colossi coming in, great control with the 2 Colossi, just making sure they do stay up, and I mean, he's going to keep both alive, and those Hydras are just taking such insane amounts of damage, and Menta is going to clean that up very nicely. And he took quite some losses, but actually looking at it, it's pretty even. It's actually, well, I mean pretty even, because obviously Zerg always lose more, but about just under 3,000 resources lost more for Sleep than of Menta, and really it's just a remax up on Roaches, it would appear. Some Roachlings, some Corruptors coming out as well. That Greater Spire is on its way down. Where is that hiding? There we go. And Sleep is now supply block, but he's maxed out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, what I'd really like to see here from Menta is, or from Sleep rather, is some Infestors, because essentially he has no Infestors on the field, and if he's going for Broodlords, you need the Infestors as well, just to prevent those Stalkers from blinking forward. Those Zerglings are nearly running into a painful death. I mean, essentially this is going well, but yet again, Sleep building up quite a bank and doesn't seem to quite have enough gas. He needs to take these 2 gas geysers ASAP. He could also take this base, just purely because if you've got over 1,000 minerals sitting around, then just take another base, you might as well. Meanwhile, if we take a look back up here, we've got a fleet beacon coming out, exactly where I am uncertain of. There we go, so we're going to see a mummy ship or maybe carriers, and also a dark shrine. So that dark shrine won't be able to do too much because this base is nicely spined and spored. However, this 5th base isn't, so that could go down, but it always gives the option for Archons. That Greater Spire is now finished, if I am not mistaken. There we go. +2 air attack coming out, and 2 upgrades for the roaches there as well. The mothership on its way. Those corruptors are going to need to morph into broodlords quickly though, but also the corrupt numbers alone will mean that those colossi can be dealt with. Upgrades here for Menta. Well, he's still on that +3 attack, but he has no additional armor upgrades, which is not good. That Colossi taking a lot of heavy fire, but I mean, this should get pretty easily cleaned up. The roaches are staying back just to pick off this 4th base of Menta, and obviously mid and late game is all about expansion management, and Sleep, he can afford to lose all of this army because roaches are very supply heavy, but also he's just got so much money he can remax on exactly what he wants to deal with this army, and essentially he needs to get some infestors. I'm really quite shocked that he's not getting them, because fungal growth against Blinkstalkers just stops them ability. Some good burrow play here, just getting the health back, but obviously Menta, he's not going to fall for that. He's going to go and clear out all of those roaches just to make sure he does stay safe. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a drone transfer coming down to this base here. It is only half done. He needs to take the gas. I mean, these 2 gases are mining, and this is really quite a slip-up basically. He needs to get as much gas income as possible, because I mean, he's going for broodlords. He's getting 80 zerglings out, so that's where he's just kind of chucked all of his money into broodlords and zerglings. But still, if he had the extra gases, he could really get those infestors out in high numbers, because 4 infestors frankly aren't enough. Meanwhile, I heard something die there, or something happen. Ah, there we go. We have just got a mothership out, and I mean, motherships pretty damn awesome. No other way of saying it. They are donkulous. Here we go, a big zergling one by, but will that probe spot it? I don't know if he did. But still, it looks like Menta is just going to go down here and take out this 5th base. The 6th base will also go down. There's a pylon coming down there, but this is a massive zergling run by. But they are +3 zealots to 2/2 zerglings, so they will get 2-shotted, and a lot more zealots are coming in. And how much damage is it going to do? Well, this zergling, there is a lot of zerglings committed here. Meanwhile, the 5th base for Sleep has been taken out by Menta, and those zerglings are being forced to pull back. But it looks like just Contend leaving a pylon here. Just 2 zealots are going to come in and irritate the hell out of this hatchery. Will almost certainly force the cancel. But what else is going to be able to go down? Well, again, Menta's just looking actually at a dominating position now, going from being quite badly on the back foot, I would say. Sleep is getting close to missing his opportunity. He's morphing in so many broodlords, which is fine, but without a significant number of corruptors to deal with this mothership, then he's going to have big issues. And he also doesn't have the infestor numbers. 4 infestors is not enough. The other key issue that I would say here for Sleep is that he doesn't have this spine crawler wall, and that really is essential, because Infestor Broodlord, which is ultimately the place Sleep is trying to go towards, is reliant on being able to slowly move across the map and deal lots of damage. But without the spine crawler wall to delay any attacks to defend your expansions, the broodlords are just so immobile that you can't get back to defend anywhere, and that is not a position you want to be caught in. Meanwhile, we will just see here the Menta is taking his own 5th base, and that's a good position. It hasn't been scouted at all by Sleep. These broodlords moving across. This is just sick creep spread going on here, but actually the creep denial has been good by Menta as well. A lot of burrowed zerglings down here. Is there an observer? Yes, there is. So all of those burrowed zerglings should be seen and will get taken out, and that's just free money thrown away by Sleep, which is always a good spot for Menta. Meanwhile, he's getting up that +1 armor, the +3 missile attack on its way. +3 armor isn't actually on its way yet. +3 flyer attack isn't on its way either. So essentially, Sleep is nearly maxed out. He's got a lot more corruptors, and I'm glad about that, because otherwise he would have had big problems with any kind of air harass. But this is where the spines come into need. As you can see, Menta just moving forward here, and we're going to get into, almost certainly get into a base race situation, because there is no way that Menta can pull back. Where is his mothership though? He's coming over, so he can't even mass recall, and now this 4th base of Sleep is going down, nearly instantly vaporizes, and ultimately this is going to be a base race, because neither player can get back to defend their own base in time. But of course the advantage here for Menta is that his army is slightly more mobile. A lot of supply taken up in Corruptors, which can't do anything against buildings, but essentially Sleep is just taking this out ASAP. But there's this hidden base down here, and that could ultimately decide everything. A lot of infested Terrans chucked down to try and take out this base. Meanwhile, the Broodlords are slowly making their way across the map. But just look at how much damage this Archon Stalker Colossi army is doing. The Greater Spire going to get focused down after that hatchery, and that just will mean the Sleep is back to the Stone Ages. Menta will have done a good job there, but the Broodlords slowly moving their way forward. I honestly think this is going to go in favour of Menta, purely because this base is just so close. There are some spines being thrown down. There goes some Corruptors, but look at the DTs come in, and there's no detection there, so bit of a misstep there, and these Stalkers just clearing off pretty much everything. There's nothing anywhere else. It's just this main base and this fourth base. A lot of drones being pulled back, and Sleep just needs to build some stuff somewhere. But regardless of the fact, Sleep, as far as he's aware, he's about to win. He's just got to build that pylon, and he's just got to kill that pylon and that assimilator, and he will have won. So he's expected to win any second now. And well, actually no, he's not, because he knows he hasn't taken out the main base either, so he has taken out all of those expansions. But I mean, to be honest, Menta's won this. It's gone to a base race situation, and I mean, Sleep just hasn't killed stuff fast enough. The Broodlords are brilliant, but obviously they can't get around to the different bases quickly enough. But having said that, Sleep has just rebuilt a hatchery, and this game is getting pretty sick. In all honesty, this is getting crazy, but of course the problem Sleep has is his spawning pool is about to go down, his hive's already down, well, it's about to go down as well, and essentially that's going to put him back into the Stone Ages. You can't even make Zerglings, and if you can't even make Zerglings, you're going to have a big problem dealing with them, with this maxed out Protoss army. But having said that, look at the amount of Broodlords here, that's just crazy. A couple of Void Rays coming out, and I mean, why wouldn't you build Skill Rays? But against this many Corruptors, it's probably not the best idea. And the main base of Menta just getting completely ransacked here, but he's just building some gateways and some pylons. Just out of the way, why not? He's also got this mining base down here, so literally at opposite sides of the map, which will give him all the time he needs in order to deal with this. Obviously, that observer saw everything, knows all the drones are here, and essentially, Menta just needs to methodically take out everything. Or, alternatively, he could just go and defend his semi-base up here, which wouldn't be a bad move either, but obviously, Sleep, he's really just got to defend in this area. And that actually worked in his favour, because the Broodlords can be immobile, they can just sit there, and in all honesty, it would be a nightmare for Menta to try and attack this army head-on, just sheerly because there are so... How many Broodlords are there? There's 16 Broodlords, so 16 Broodlords is just a huge number, but it looks like Menta's just going to come back and defend, and this game has just got crazy. He's got all of his tech up in the top right, and he's got his only mining base in the bottom left. Meanwhile, Sleep's just gone and invaded the third base of Menta, and this possibly is slightly oversaturated. I hope even to the most untrained eye you could see there may be too many drones there, but still this main base of Menta is being allowed to stay up, and that's really surprising me, because essentially there's no reason not to send a couple of... Oh, he has got a couple of Broodlords, but he knows that the main army from this troop spread, the Menta's army is so far away, he could just literally move in with those Broodlords, clear out all the tech, and at least then he'd be pretty much safe for a while. But there goes the gateway, just a couple of warpins on the way down. Storm isn't researched, but I mean, that can get down anytime soon. Meanwhile, we will see the spawning pool coming out here for Sleep. This is a pretty standard 32 minutes 50 spawning pool, which... You'll see a lot of pros do moves like this, getting the excessively late spawning pool. But no, joking aside, this game is pretty crazy. But unfortunately for Sleep, he took the third base, which is nearly mined out anyway. All of this creep is just systematically being taken out. And just look at the Archon numbers. And actually, we will see something interesting here from Sleep. He's going to come over. There is a DT. There must be detection somewhere. Where is that detection? He took it out, but I don't quite know where. But here comes the army for Menta, and this is actually quite a scary army. That mothership is getting sniped off, and that was a lovely little win there for Sleep. But I mean, Sleep is just losing supply like it's going out of fashion. He's building a lot of spine crawlers, and that's all he really can do, because he can't take this base up here, or he can try to, but ultimately there's just stuff up there for Menta, and all of these drones are now wasted supply. But likewise, he doesn't actually have enough money anymore to build another hatchery, unless he cancels this one. So this is actually going pretty damn crazy, because unless you can mine enough to get some more hatcheries, you're pretty much dead. And just look at all these spines. I don't really know what Sleep's plan is here. I don't know if he even has a plan here, but I mean, he can hold on for as long as he wants, but without this mining base. Having said that though, this mining base is about to go down. That's just too many infested terrans. That is not going to survive. And I mean, once that goes down, that's going to be huge problems for Menta, because he's 50 mil short of being able to build another one. And oh no, he built one. That is absolutely brilliant. So Menta is still in this game. He's still got a mining base, but we're going to see some long range mining coming down here. Oh no, we're going to see a hatch try and go down, but there's this DT, and this DT is just going to have easy pickings of drones. Just drones all day, just like every day I'm slicing them. Sorry, I will stop that now. But no, this DT is just being an absolute nightmare, and a slight overreaction, so many broodlords, and this game is just getting so insane. It's one of these situations where you don't want to engage. If you are a player in this, you just don't want to go for a head-on army collision, because if you don't win that one engagement, or it doesn't even matter if you kill 99.9% of their army, if they kill 100% of your army, you lose. Because literally, having said that, I mean, obviously Menta has this mining base, but for all intents and purposes, you only need a couple of Zerglings to survive, and, well, they can end the game. They can just flat out come and kill you, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that is irritating as hell. Meanwhile, well, I mean, Menta, he's just biding his time, but it looks like Sleep is moving forward, and this is a brave move. He doesn't want to do it, does he? He wants to be careful, and actually Menta, he's just moving around, and he's going to be able to flank, and if he gets a good flank and actually traps Sleep's army in here, he's going to be finding this one High Templar bravely moving out and seeing just how many how many Broodlords there are. But here comes the Archons, and there's just so many Archons are grappling forward, picking off those infestors before they can get too many fungal growths off, and this is pretty sick. This is what it's all going to come down to, and it looks like Menta is cleaning this up so well. The Colossi are going down, but the Croptors are falling even faster. The Broodlords just getting sniped off so well by those Stalkers, and that is pretty much GG to Menta has won this game now. There's nothing you can do. Imber, and that's a bit kind of not BM, but still, it wasn't Imber. It was a very close game, and ultimately, as a Zerg player, if you let the Protoss get up a 200 of 200 army of Archons, Colossi, Mothership, Stalker, then it's a death ball which you can't really combat, especially if you have no mining bases. But yeah, that was game 2. And that levels it up to 1-all. Stick around for game 3 and give this one a thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.